Coming up, ICE Watch organizing, learning Spanish, U.S. veterans standing up against ICE, and how you can join the socialist fight. But first, no kings, no fascists, no billionaires. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MDC Dispatch. I'm your host, Tony, and I'll be bringing you the news and events from Metro DC DSA. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and be on the lookout for a new Dispatch episode every first and third Sunday of each month. From DC to Portland, the country is under attack from a radical right-wing government and its small clique of billionaire backers. On Saturday, October 18th, millions of people across the nation turned out to demonstrate against this fascist takeover. Blocking the fascist takeover of the federal government is necessary, but not enough. Socialists have a unique role to play in the fight for a better world. This is why Metro DC Democratic Socialists of America called on members and its allies to join in solidarity with this mass action. DSA members assembled on Pennsylvania Avenue and marched in DC against the fascist regime. These rallies are just one of many tools we have to counter this fascist regime. As the Trump administration continues to break laws and usher in its authoritarian agenda, it is imperative to get involved with your local DSA projects. Even if you just started, there are many working groups and projects to join to help you do your part in changing our society for the betterment of everyone. We have the Dispatch. Went out yesterday. Here's our experience at the action.
So my name is Tito Lima Morales. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the current treasurer of Metro DC DSA. We're here at the end of the No Kings March round 2 here on Pennsylvania Avenue. We were here with a larger contingent of socialists from the chapter and other friendly groups in our various coalitions that we're in for a couple of reasons mainly. One, to stay in solidarity in the moment with these groups within the broader sort of liberal left coalition in DC, and also to increase awareness and recruit for DSA. Right, we brought homemade signs that we passed out that were very attractive, and that allowed people to engage with us, and we were able to make a sort of recruitment pitch to them. We asked them if they were members of DSA. We asked them if they wanted to get more involved, and we gave them a way to do so.
So hi, I'm Jay, or Rodolfo from IBON International. IBON International is a group doing research on economic concerns facing by oppressed and exploited peoples in the Global South, and we're here at the No Kings rally in Washington, D.C. because we believe that if we say that there should be no kings, no dictators, we should also say there should be no imperialism in the Global South, including in the Philippines. There should be no dictatorship of the elites that's been supported by the administration of the Trump government in complicity with the local elites in countries like the Philippines. And that's why we also say that there should be no imperialism of the economic institutions of the United States, like the IMF and the World Bank, in the same way that there should be no U.S. military bases and no direct occupation of Philippine soil by U.S. troops and U.S. military personnel. When we say no kings, we want the end to these exploitative and oppressive relationships between imperialism and the semi-colonies like the Philippines and other countries in the Global South. We want the end to the Palestinian occupation, genocide, and apartheid, because it's one manifestation of this same system that we're all fighting with. So down with imperialism, long live international solidarity.
Join the Metro DC DSA Bodily Autonomy Working Group at As You Are for a fundraiser for the DC Abortion Fund, DCAF, and a kickoff for the working group's abortion access sheet. Come dressed in a costume for a dance party with As You Are's very own DJ Biteback, Boggs Block printed merch, and more, October 18th at 8 p.m. Stomp Out Slumlords will have an all-hands meeting and tenant organizing workshop on Saturday, October 25th, 2 p.m. at Mount Pleasant Library. Join tenants and organizers to talk through organizing strategy, get help working through issues in your building, or find advice for starting a tenants union. SOS is looking to recruit Spanish speakers for organizing positions. DSA is organizing ICE Watch neighborhood patrols every weekend in Columbia Heights. For those not personally at risk of deportation, roles like this are essential for documentation for families and serve as deterrents. MoCo Immigrant Rights Collective has been providing trainings and is organizing a mutual aid fundraiser for impacted families. Spanish Club for Socialists, a project of multiple socialist and mutual aid organizations in the area, including Metro DC DSA, is a free weekly event where organizers meet up to practice their Spanish. The event is about 90 minutes long and is split into beginner, intermediate, and advanced groups, so learners of all levels should feel welcome. The next session is scheduled for Monday, October 20th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at Potter's House. There are just 2 weekends left to knock on doors for Metro DC DSA-endorsed candidates Frankie Fritz and Omodamola Williams. Frankie and Omo are fighting to support working-class families in Greenbelt and Gaithersburg, respectively. Socialists are mobilizing to get the word out ahead of Election Day on November 4th. Both teams kicked off canvassing this past weekend at the Greenbelt Metro Station and in Gaithersburg. If you were unable to make it out, there's still time to help. We spoke to Omo recently. Here's part of that interview. Today, we are joined by a guest live in studio, Omodamola Williams. He is running for city council in Gaithersburg as a DSA-endorsed candidate and a member. Yeah. Omo, why don't you tell everyone here a little bit about yourself and your campaign?
My name is Omodamola Williams. I reside in Gaithersburg, city of Gaithersburg in Montgomery County, Maryland. And I'm running for city council of Gaithersburg. So first and foremost, I'm a father over everything. I'm a community advocate. Second, back in 2023, DSA, along with other coalition members in Montgomery County, fought so hard for the passage of rent stabilization. And when that bill finally passed, we just was like, okay, that was a messy fight. I mean, there were so many people we had to lobby and, talk to, borderline burned bridges. It was a lot. And I come to understand and realize that, hey, we need to get some more people into office, whether it's state delegate, county council member, but we need more progressive people in the office. More so like, not just like progressive on paper, like they actually have a real story, a history, just to back up what their supposed title is. Like for me, I actually was homeless. I actually know what's it like to lose your place, despite paying and still being denied. I've experienced some police brutality. I've experienced being wrongfully sent to jail. And I've also been on the other side of the fence. I've been robbed. I've been mugged before, minding my business. I've been robbed and mugged by police, minding my business. There's no left or right with me. There's so much gray area. People got to understand this. And when you're in a position of leadership, I think it's really selfish to just pick a side and not try to bring the sides together, because you can't just say, it never happened to me, so, I'm going to just pass this bill or ignore certain constituents. And that's mainly one of the reasons why I'm running. I want people to understand that your voice needs to be heard, and I don't want people to be left behind.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's really interesting that you say it's like not like a left and right thing. If you asked most people who are struggling, like what their issue is, socialism probably definitely has an answer for it. So like, for instance, like rural people, they like, what do people, who are poor, rural, white, they're struggling financially, right? You look at their concerns and they'll talk about how much they love guns. But if you tell them you're going to fix their housing situation and come with an actual solution, they'll listen to you. We should be counting no voters out, is what I'm saying. And by that, I don't mean by their ideology. I mean, address their concern. Find how socialism addresses their concern and make that clear to them. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's what you were saying when you're like, is that kind of what you meant when you were like, it's a little bit gray, everybody's got a problem that...
Especially with the immigrant thing that's going on. Immigrants been around forever, right. But all of a sudden it's a big thing now. Oh, wow. Door knocking and talking with hundreds of lovely constituents. I've come to understand that people who are immigrants, the problems that they face daily is not the same problems as people who are homeowners face. And of course, we all have our problems, right? We all have our daily challenges in life. What I'm saying is people who are living paycheck to paycheck, who are immigrants, they would love to trade spaces and have the problems of people who are, more established and have housing, who are homeowners.
Right.
And homeowners would not want to have those problems that people who are, paycheck to paycheck, who are immigrants, the problems that they face
Right.
with transportation, with adequate, access to food. It's a lot. And it's amazing what some people would say, what homeowners would say about when I would tell them I'm fighting for immigrant rights, and they will cut me off. The legal ones, right? No, immigrants. And they would say, well, no, there's too many illegal immigrants here. They're coming into that nonsense. They're coming into our city, our state, our country. They're stealing our jobs. And then they're getting on welfare. But I'm like, which is it? Because if they're stealing your job and they're getting on welfare at the same time, but again,
It'd be both. Yeah.
I can't argue with people. You got to listen, because some people are not susceptible to change and being corrected. Because if you correct somebody, you corrected me. You think you're smarter than me? No, I don't want that hostile energy. It's just, I understand where you're coming from. It's just that I'm coming from the humanitarian side of society.
I think, yeah, I do think that definitely like upper middle class people get caught up in like, well, if people at the bottom come up, they'll squeeze me out like that. And it's all just like propaganda. I feel like that's been pushed by just like from the moment you're born. It's just like, you have to have the skills to compete. Life's a competition. No room for solidarity. You have to be ready to compete for a dignified life. I don't understand. The thing is, though, that homeowner is insecure about immigrants for a few reasons. One, they're probably kind of racist. But two, they're also insecure about their economics. And if there were a system that better took into account not just the most marginalized, like they think any help like from the government will only ever go to the most marginalized, because again, that's kind of
and
how
let me ask you this:
they forced it.
When you say that,
Mm-hmm.
imagine talking to a homeowner who is of Indian descent or Hispanic descent, and Latin descent, and they just got their papers, but they're talking about we need to get rid of the illegal immigrants. Not me, because I got my papers, and I'm listening to you. I hear you, but it's just like it took you 7 years to get your status, so now you want to get on that high horse.
You're gonna pull up the ladder behind you. Yeah.
Is that crabs in a barrel? What do you call that? I don't know. It's only through education. That's all. It's all through educating people about the real issue, the real enemy.
Like I have friends who have come here from China, and like they get into the American spirit of things, and there's like this weird undertone of like being anti-immigrant or anti-illegal immigrant, because they think that they've done it the right way somehow. But like, I think a lot of that is gone. Like, what really undermines that kind of division is ICE smashing everyone's face into the pavement. So like, I think, I don't think like Trump is doing that well with Latinos in general, or people who, aren't born here. Because a lot of like, even like there's this trope that Asians are like the model minority or whatever, and there can sometimes like be a lack of solidarity there. It's mostly among the older generations, first of all. Let me say that.
There's definitely an age thing going on. I don't want to get on that.
Everywhere.
I forgot about that.
Everywhere, but definitely like these first generation kids are not with it with their parents, and a lot of their parents have gone like off the deep end. But like, anyways, I think once you start seeing when you start seeing freaking Chinese students getting deported, like that's going to turn around your like I feel like that's going to change a lot of people's minds. But I get what you're saying. I
believe that as well. Like once people of Asian descent start to be harassed more, I think that'll be the defining moment where all hell's gonna break loose. That's
Maybe.
Just me. That's just
well,
my
I mean,
guess.
they already are, obviously, because like they were going after their visas and stuff like that. And like, but yeah, like if it got to a point where that became the focus, that would be well, I mean, they're a much smaller percentage of the population, but they also tend to have more political and economic power, just on average, though. But
I'm just looking at patterns.
but I think there's more solidarity coming, because I think there is just like, because of just like the massive scale of these deportations, they're going after everybody. Like obviously the biggest groups are Hispanics, but like they're going after everyone. Like they deported a white Canadian, who was working here. Like this is, I think he had a green card, so like they are, there is there's like a somewhat universality to this, but there's also obviously a very big racial element to it as well. It's just I think
The people who say I don't see race, but immediately go after brown people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're like, well, we're just taking race into account when we ask for people's papers. It's not the only reason. It's like, okay, that's stupid because you're like, that's so fucking dumb. And then the Supreme Court's like, well, you can do all this damage and you can do these roving patrols while we figure out if it's illegal to do these obviously illegal patrols. Like that shit drives me insane. The Supreme Court's like letting Trump do the damage first before it, like all that shit's coming this term. So they're either going to have to rubber stamp it officially, or they're going to have to, I mean, I guess they could send it back to the lower courts, but the lower courts are mostly telling him to stop, Like the lower courts are not siding with him. So like the only way that the Supreme Court can really give Trump what he wants is by saying, yes, you can have these fascist powers, oh dear king. Like, I don't know what happens, like when the Supreme Court says, yes, birthright citizenship is literally written in the Constitution. We know why it's there. We know what it's for. There is no room for interpretation of the 14th Amendment. And yet there is a very real chance that the Supreme Court will say, yeah, actually, there's no such thing as birthright citizenship. And like,
he said that it was meant for the blacks only. That's what he said. That's what I was referring to. Not the people coming in from other countries having children.
Yeah, it's insane. It's an insane thing to go after. It's even more insane that the Supreme Court is entertaining the idea of getting rid of it. For me, like that is the brightest red line. As ICE continues to rain terror on cities, some veterans are keeping their oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. An article in The Guardian reports several notable cases against veteran protesters happening across the country. In the district, a veteran responsible for throwing a sandwich at a Customs and Border Patrol agent was charged with felony assault, but prosecutors were unable to secure an indictment from a grand jury. Outside of Chicago, a 70-year-old Air Force veteran, Dana Briggs, was charged with felony assault on a federal officer. A video recording of the incident shows a group of militarized ICE agents as they march toward a small crowd with riot gear and knock over the elderly man. Federal prosecutors are claiming physical contact with the agent's arm is enough to qualify as felony assault. The protester was released on appearance bond. Another Marine Corps veteran was tackled while ICE agents deployed tear gas on a crowd assembled outside of the Broadview ICE facility. He described being confined for 9 hours and subjected to verbal abuse and behavior unacceptable by any military standard. He was charged with a misdemeanor. Briggs is a member of Common Defense, a group of progressive veterans organizing against the tide of racism, hate, and violence, which was founded in 2016 in response to Trump. Executive Director of Common Defense and former U.S. Army Sergeant Jose Vasquez put out a statement highlighting the disturbing escalation in arrests and violence signals that the basic freedoms we once swore to protect are under attack. More former service members, including members of Congress, are speaking out at the alarming conduct demonstrated by ICE's paramilitary force as reckless, dangerous, and unaccountable to any oversight. DHS and the Department of Justice have continually defended the actions of ICE as mounting evidence accumulates of their aggressive oppression of civilians. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Join our chapter for any of the huge slate of events coming up in the next few weeks. RSVPs linked in the description. The DSA Nova Medicare for All Working Group is hosting a meeting on Tuesday, October 21st, as we discuss ongoing campaigns in our work towards universal health care. We meet on the first and third Tuesday of the month. Our meetings are open to the public, and we welcome all who support healthcare as a human right. Curious about DSA and thinking about joining but want to hear more info first? Already a member and want to get more involved? If so, the virtually hosted Why You Should Join DSA New Member Orientation event is for you. You'll learn about DSA, what we do, and how you can get involved in the fight for a brighter future. October 22nd. Volunteer with the Montgomery County DSA for a weekend of canvassing for MDC DSA member and endorsed candidate Omodamola Williams. For Gaithersburg City Council, OMO is running to get rent stabilization in the city, increased police accountability, giving municipal workers the right to collectively bargain, and more, October 25th and 26th. Also canvassing is DSA-endorsed Frankie Santos Fritz in Greenbelt. Make new friends, meet your Greenbelt neighbors, get political experience, and stay for the fun happy hour afterwards. No experience necessary, October 25th and 26th. Unite Here Local 25 is holding informational pickets outside of Star's Le Diplomat to let the public know the workers there do not have a union contract. Metro DC DSA's Labor Working Group is mobilizing the community and its members to come out for ongoing pickets in support of the restaurant workers organizing to join Unite Here Local 25, October 23rd and 24th. More than just DSA is hosting events in the coming weeks, so are many other groups. Here are a few other upcoming events. The Reel and Meal at the New Deal Cafe presents new short films to inspire us to action. Projecting Protest depicts the protest tactic of projecting words onto city walls. Not a Token Bill is a humorous look at two Colorado congressmen who dig into the new Digital Token Act and uncover a web of power and deceit. Excerpts from Citizen Ruth, Environmental Warrior, follow the environmental work of Ruth Wright, who reshaped Colorado's landscapes. A short message by Robert Wright, who calls for policies to restore accountability in our democracy, follows. The film screened in-house at the New Deal Cafe, 113 Centerway, in the Roosevelt Center, Greenbelt, and on Zoom. Join us Monday, October 20th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Join Freedom Healers DC in the Immaculate Temperance Alley Garden on Saturday, October 25th, 3 to 7 p.m. for an afternoon of rejuvenating community care and connection. Organizers especially encourage you to come if you've been impacted by ICE abductions or other grief, anxiety, and violence inflicted by the federal occupation of DC, or if you're feeling the complex grief of the most recent ceasefire in Gaza. Freedom Healers will have Reiki, facilitated journaling, guided stretching, massage, and more. Please bring a friend or two, especially anyone you know who has trouble making space to care for themselves. Find these activities and many more at the calendar of events on our website or in our full weekly update, also linked in the description. The Democratic Socialists of America is growing. If you're not a member of DSA and would like to connect with other like-minded activists, community organizers, and neighbors, visit dsausa.org and join today. Metro DC DSA is the third largest chapter in America with over 2,000 members. We are very active in the community and have groups focused on labor, tenant rights, LGBTQ rights, environmental activism, and much more. DSA is the largest socialist organization in America, and we would love to have you as a member. These and other stories, along with links and sources, can be found in the Metro DC DSA Weekly Update newsletter, which you can find linked in the description. This production has been a collaboration of members of Metro DC DSA. Look for new videos on the first and third Sunday every month. I'm your host, Tony. A better world is possible.
Ours and ours alone, we have made the wide foundation from the sky was stone by stone. It is ours not to toy, but to master and to own. For the union makes us strong. Yeah. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never thought to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us